Well, today being Father's Day, 2008, I'm giving a little tribute to my own self as a father, and this goes back to when I married Jan, and this is Jan and her three sons, Daniel in the middle, who unfortunately has passed at a very young age, Matthew on the left, the middle boy, and Martin there on the right. And this is one of our first camping expeditions in our tent, and we used to go to Billing Aquadrome every year, and of course later on were added our two daughters, so we had a family of 5, and these 3 were aged 1, 3 and 5 when I became their stepfather, and of course now they are grown-up boys. By the time we ended up much later on, we actually had a big caravan at this site rather than our little tent, but this was quite a nice little moment with our first attempts at camping. We were all on our own, didn't know anyone. We ended up meeting a group on an annual basis, but a nice photograph, a nice, friendly, happy photograph of fatherhood for me, which and stepfatherhood, which is particularly tricky. Here is another photograph of fatherhood, and one of the only photographs where my own son Scott is included, and the 3 boys, and the new arrival Natalie, who is now 30 years old, and there's Daniel on the left. We miss Daniel. And there's Martin on the right, looking a bit sulky actually. He was the older of the 3 boys and the hardest work for me to try and win over. And I believe this photograph was also taken right after he'd just smashed a little toy car right into Natalie's face while she was laying face down on the carpet. So I think he'd been somewhat told off, and she was a bit weepy with having had this car, just accidentally no doubt, just driven into her face. This was before my son kind of disassociated himself from us, as he was made to, I suspect, by his mother, that he couldn't have this new family and retain his old one, so he's never really been part of this family and their upbringing, unfortunately. And he was born in '66, so he's getting on himself now. What does that make him? I'm trying to work that out furiously. So he's 42 or something like that. Anyway, quite a family, and still one to go. Heidi's not made an appearance yet, but she's the next one to come on this. This is quite a neat fatherhood photo. It doesn't seem as we can all get together in the same photograph. This is me and Heidi, who has now arrived. We are being christened, all of us. Well, the boys. Heidi was christened. Natalie, I think, was, if she hadn't already been christened. I'm trying to furiously work that one out. This was at our local church in Paston, and it's quite a touching photograph really, because you can see Matthew there, the middle of the stepsons, and Daniel on the right, and they're dressed up for the winter in Peterborough. And unfortunately this is the very church where Daniel to the right there was recently had a service for him, as unfortunately he had passed at a young age, sadly. And so this photograph of my fatherhood, there was 10 years of having 5 children and 3 stepchildren, and it was awesome, and wearying at the same time, and something I will always remember. Daughter Natalie on there, pretty little thing, and they were good times, I guess, but they were just a part of an era. Another era, my two daughters, blossoming, and Tracy, trying to be the stepmother at a very young age. I know exactly what step-parentage is like, so I know what a struggle it is and how personalities come into it, and it's a very difficult thing. I see one of the few photographs here where I'm showing my teeth, which have always been a problem. In my present situation, there's certainly a problem, and they've never been my best feature, but a great photograph here of us done at a studio, I believe, Olan or whatever, but quite an era, and quite a credit to Tracy for being able to cope with this family at that particular time. Parentage again, and pride as my daughter, soccer player, won the Sports Personality of the Year competition. This was judged by the public writing in. I don't know how many of Heidi's friends wrote in for her, but she deserved it anyway. She was a great soccer player, playing for posh ladies and doing a great job, and far too young to have champagne actually, but I don't know who actually did have it. Probably she did, but anyway, part of parenting again and being a proud dad. I certainly was. This is Matthew, my middle stepson, one of his school photographs. He looked so sweet and demure. He turned out to be a little less sweet and surly at times, but he's a great lad, and it was quite a challenge, but part of my being a stepfather on Father's Day. My sweet and lovely daughter, precocious maybe a little bit at times, winning all the competitions at the Butlins when we used to go on vacation, the baby competitions. She used to walk away with it time and time again, never afraid to get up with a microphone, and very confident young thing, and that shows nowadays still in her makeup, in her character, and I love her to bits, even though we do butt heads quite a lot. Tilly again when she's older, with my little parakeet bird that she was visiting, I think, with me before I came away to America, and the bird took to being on her shoulder quite happily. Very attractive, very nice photo, and my beautiful daughter. A photo of my beautiful youngest daughter Heidi at one of her elegant occasions. I'm not sure what it was, but she's very, very nice looking there. I'm very proud. My son Scott, Barry Scott Lockyer on the left there. He's very big in computers in London. Don't ever see or hear from him. His mother has always made it clear to him that he has to choose. My nephew Rick, my sister's son in the middle, and my sister's daughter to the right, and she lives up in the north of England somewhere. Rick, who I think was named after me, is actually living in the States, in Charlotte, I think, but I've never had any contact with him for lots and lots of years, and this was way, way back in, I would imagine this was in 1970 something, maybe 76, maybe my son was 10 or whatever, I can't remember, to be honest.